Okay, this is Michaela Mosher, and she's going to talk about the show at Future 2 Casper called A Woman's Perspective with a question mark.
So, the women's perspective, maybe, is a collaboration between me, Mary Savage, Olivia Everhamnen, and Haley Choi, who we've never worked together, and we didn't produce these works of art together or with the intention of putting them under a title of A Woman's Perspective. And I gathered the artists together because we're all women, just by the scientific classification of gender in the world. And like when you're born, you're either a man or a woman, and that defines the rest of your life, and everything that you decide and everything that you do is mostly based on whether you are a man or a woman. And so I wanted to see what type, I didn't tell anyone what the title of the show was, what the concept was behind it, because I wanted to see a true sample of what they're doing with their lives within their art, and see if it does relate to the fact that they are a woman and that it is their perspective, and does that in course relate to them being a woman in the world, or is the art that they produce completely non-biased by their sexuality, by their gender, or anything. And so my work, I put in 5 prints that I did in my Intro to Intaglio class at CCS. And so those were just the prints that I had done most recently and that I was most proud of and that I wanted to show. And so right now where I'm at with my stuff is doing a lot of natural colors, muted color palettes, because I don't really like color too much, like the whole, all the colors of the rainbow. I'm looking, especially since it's recently been fall and winter, looking toward fall colors and natural things. And being in the city of Detroit, trying to reach back to the natural country that I grew up in, playing around in the forest and playing around in dirt, eating dirt when I was a kid. And
what was the natural country you grew up in?
I grew up in Flint until 4th grade, and then now I live in Lapeer until I started college. So we were in a pretty rural area. We were around within like a city, but we had lots of space to spread out. And that also leads to Mary's piece, which she titled In the Woods Behind Her House.
Should we look at Mary's piece?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to talk about Mary's piece? She couldn't be here tonight.
From what she said about it, it's a self-portrait of her as a child, and she titled it In the Woods Behind Her House. And she found porno magazine behind her house, and these are cutouts from that porno magazine and from Rolling Stone magazine, and it's like and she's playing with a Barbie doll, and it's like this little child, that's what she's expected to be. And there's Pretty Little Pony stickers and Sesame Street stickers and little glittery hearts and dragons and balloons, and it's a really jarring piece. You got the obvious shock factor of naked people, naked women. Saw a lot of men standing in front of it during the show, admiring the artwork, I'm sure. But I think most of her work is dealing with sexuality and with women. And so I thought that was pretty perfect that she was in the Women's Perspective show.
Okay. And Olivia Abrahamian's piece is behind her. You want to tell us a little bit about your painting, Olivia?
Yeah, okay, so this is done from a photographic reference that a photo I took inside the Russell Industrial Center, or the Packard plant. And I worked from a photo reference. And that's the result of it.
And any reason for choosing the Packard plant for?
It was a location that we traveled to in one of my landscape painting classes. So.
And does that relate to some of what's going on with the auto industry in the city? Is that...
I don't know if it relates like currently because of the Packard plant. It hasn't been open for like 50 or plus years. So, I mean, it could say something about, you know, the state now, like be going in that direction, but not trying to make a comment really.
That wasn't your intention behind
No.
the piece. Okay. Tell me her name.
This is Haley Choi, who is a sophomore at CCS, and she's majoring in fine art, and she's of expression, obviously, and they're definitely speaking. Most of her work involves the image of the fish and the image of portraits of women's faces feature prominently in all of her work, and so I thought she would be a very good image to work with our project. And I like this one. It has the person hiding the face, but with the face drawn on, which is like makeup.
Fascinating.
And she's a very glammy person. She's like glitter, fur coats, poofy things all the time. So she's a very, very unique personality.